Here's your General Hospital spoilers sneak peek at some of the action that will take place in Port Charles the week of January 19th to 23rd, 2026. Be sure to tune in to ABC each weekday to see how it all plays out. The verdict in Willow's trial creates shockwaves. Sonny makes a cryptic offer. Anna is horrified. Drew issues a warning to Nina. Dante is conflicted. Tuesday, January 20th. Elizabeth and Lucas rush to action. Britt asks Jason on a date. Trina confides in Ava. Cullum issues new orders. Michael and Chase have a tense encounter. Laura is alarmed. Tracy makes Jason an offer. Nina advises. Kai Brennan briefs. Jocelyn Lucas delivers devastating news. Thursday, January 22nd. Britt is backed into a corner. Jason is suspicious. Emma turns to Nathan for help. Brooklyn and Chase discuss their future. Lucas and Marco are surprised. Sonny manipulates Ava. Jason voices his concern for Britt. Jordan brokers. An introduction. Joss turns to an unlikely source for help. Here is the General Hospital weekly recap for episodes that aired from January 12th through January 16th, 2026. Willow is found not guilty while Anna locks eyes with the truth of who's holding her, and WSB Director Cullum's arrival confirms Sidwell has never been the one in charge. This week on General Hospital at the Quartermain Stables, Cody admitted to Felicia that he could not stop thinking about Molly and felt hurt after James asked if Molly was his girlfriend, and Molly said no, despite how close they had become on New Year's Eve. Molly later told Christina she panicked after sleeping with Cody and regretted shutting things down. Then she went to the stables, apologized, explained she acted out of fear, and asked Cody to be her boyfriend, which he accepted. At the Quartermain mansion, Tracy reinstated Edward's cocktail hour and revealed that a judge signed an order forcing Drew to return the family heirlooms. This prompted Ned to finally admit that Drew walked away during his heart attack, leading Tracy and Olivia to accuse Drew of leaving Ned to die. Meanwhile, Michael spent time with Jacinda as Wiley and learned that Jacinda genuinely enjoyed gaming with his son. Michael later joined Jacinda and Christina at the grill, where Christina apologized for trying to pay Jacinda to leave town and asked Michael if he feared being charged if Willow was acquitted. At Drew's home, Willow avoided intimacy with Drew, confided in Nina about her anxiety after testifying, insisted Michael framed her, and resisted Nina's suggestion to leave Drew once she was cleared. Trina and Kai went to Alexis's office and confidentially told her they believed Willow shot Drew, admitting they were hiding in Drew's bedroom the night of the shooting while searching for evidence against Portia, heard gunshots, and later recognized Willow's ringtone. Alexis questioned their logic and warned them against going to the police due to their own exposure. She then told them she could do nothing because she was obligated to defend Willow. At the Quartermain mansion, Drew and Martin confronted Tracy, leading to a heated argument where Tracy realized Martin had turned her and Michael over to Alexis. Brooklyn blamed Drew for Ned's heart attack, and Olivia threatened Drew with Edward's shotgun, ultimately forcing Drew and Martin to leave. Later, Alexis reviewed phone records, called a number tied to the shooting time, reached Wiley, and realized Trina and Kai were right. Dante questioned Jack about possible WSB evidence tampering, and Nina overheard. Alexis delayed court proceedings by seeking legal advice from Diane, admitting she believed Willow was guilty and feared her own defense would lead to acquittal. Diane warned her that revealing anything would result in disbarment and likely cost Scout access to Sam's family if Willow were convicted. In court, Drew reassured Willow she would walk free and gain custody back. Sidwell instructed Jordan to monitor Drew at trial, hinted at replacing him, and warned her not to underestimate his reach. Ada Turner delivered closing arguments portraying Willow as calculated and guilty, while Alexis followed by insisting Willow was innocent, redirecting blame to Michael, and momentarily misspeaking before correcting herself. The jury was sent to deliberate. Drew celebrated prematurely, and Alexis exchanged a knowing look with Trina and Kai. Elsewhere, Marco threatened Britt over delays in their work, ordered her to disappear to Spoon Island, and reminded her that her medication was under his control. Anna feigned medical distress in captivity, fought with Pascal, and attempted to escape. Carly searched Jack's hotel room, photographed hidden documents, and narrowly avoided being caught when Jack confronted her. Ava caught Valentine searching for Windermere's secret passage and warned him off. Jack professed his feelings to Carly, and she later regrouped with Valentine and learned Sidwell wanted to avoid police involvement. On Spoon Island, Sidwell's unseen partner physically intervened to stop Anna's escape, argued that Anna was a distraction, referenced finishing Faison's work, and warned Pascal that Anna was more dangerous than he realized. At the hospital, Jason discussed Britt with Liz, was warned off by Brad, but still asked Britt out on a date, which she accepted. Sunny confronted Alexis about implicating Michael, and Alexis explained her decision was about protecting Scout from Drew's control. Sunny ultimately supported her reasoning. Jack later met with WSB director Cullum, who was the same guy we saw ordering Sidwell around. Cullum confirmed Anna was missing and pressed Jack to reveal who his asset in Windermere was, but Jack held his ground, worried because of Colette's past treason. Cullum accused Jack of holding back information and demanded results. Lulu brought James to the hospital after a skating accident, and Nathan imposed consequences to rein in his son's recklessness. Gio comforted Emma at Anna's apartment as she worried about her grandmother, and the two became intimate. Tracy accused Chase of prioritizing Willow over Brooke Lynn. Chase, appalled, denied any feelings for Willow. He later promised Brooke Lynn that he would not lose sight of their marriage. Laura forced Tracy and Martin into a truce by threatening fraud charges, securing a temporary ceasefire. At the hatchet range, Jason and Britt's date collided with Carly and Joss's night out, leading to arguments about Britt's danger and Jason's priorities. Britt later won an axe-throwing wager with Jason, which was a kiss at the time of the winner's choosing. Anna's condition worsened in captivity. Emma and Gio woke up in bed together, and Emma told him she was glad he was there. Anna awoke and saw Liesl treating her illness. After Trina and Kai confronted Alexis, she admitted she believed Willow was guilty. Chase confessed to Dante that he skated right up to the line but never crossed it, swearing he would never destroy evidence. When Anna questioned why Liesl was there, the woman posing as Liesl hinted it was at Fazan's behest and told Anna he would never let her go. Meanwhile, the real Liesl appeared at the hospital and pressured Britt to apply for Portia's position while she was out of work. Alexis explained to Trina and Kai that Willow's guilt or innocence was irrelevant to her role as defense attorney and that even if Willow had confessed, she would never reveal it. However, she promised Trina and Kai she would defend them if they chose to go to the police. Nina warned Drew that while he had helped Willow, things would now be done her way, and if Willow were found guilty, Nina's lawyers would manage the appeal. Michael tried to discuss with Willow what would happen to the kids if she were found guilty and offered some government-funded programs to facilitate that. Liesl told Britt she wanted to fully support Rocco playing ice hockey, though Britt believed keeping distance was best since no one in Rocco's family wanted her involved. Alexis told Kai and Trina the situation might have been different had they gone to the police sooner, prompting Trina to ask whether Michael would be prosecuted if Willow were found innocent. Just as Willow asked Michael about visitation if she were found innocent, she received a call from the courthouse saying the verdict was in. Dante told Chase he was re-examining the evidence to see if anything implicated Michael. Alexis explained to Trina and Kai that prosecuting a second shooter would require ironclad proof with no room for reasonable doubt. Before the court resumed, Kai approached Michael and said he didn't believe anything Drew said on the stand, thanking him just as Drew walked in and saw them shaking hands. Liesl reminded Britt she deserved to attend Rocco's sporting events because she gave birth to him, and Britt was overjoyed at the prospect. Gio admitted to Emma that although things were going well at Sunny's, he needed a place of his own. Back with Anna, the nurse treating her was revealed not to be Liesl at all, reporting to Pascal that Anna believed she was, which he confirmed meant she was ready for the next phase. Chase later thanked Alexis for defending Willow, still convinced of her innocence despite the look on Alexis's face suggesting otherwise. Britt admitted to Liesl that when she believed she was dying, her final thoughts were of peace. Emma told Gio she had recently decided to become a veterinarian and admitted she'd liked him for a while without knowing if he felt the same. Willow arrived at court barely on time without explanation. When Anna awoke, she asked if Liesl was still there before being horrified by a smoldering cigar in an ashtray and hearing Faison's voice over a speaker saying he had been watching her. And in a shocking finale, the jury came back with a verdict. Willow was finally found not guilty. Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Monday, January 19th, 2026. Expect shockwaves in the courtroom as the enormity of what happens becomes clear. Alexis knows she just helped a guilty woman escape consequences for trying to kill a sitting congressman and now has to live with that, but she needs Drew to pay up. Lexis tells her that she came through for him, so she expects the same in return. But Drew has other creepy and nasty things in mind, so he'll get back to Alexis later. First, he has to put Nina on notice and tell her they will be doing things his way or the highway. As for Kai and Trina, they debrief to discuss what happened and what they know. Trina decides that Willow being found not guilty may not be such a bad thing after all. Justine lays into Chase for what he said on the stand and how much he damaged her case. She warns him that Willow might not be going to jail, but Chase could be headed there. Meanwhile, Dante is conflicted and is not sure whether he should start investigating his own brother. Back at the Q mansion, Michael has to decide what his next step is regarding visitation rights for Willow. Sonny fears that Michael might be the next person to stand trial and makes his son a cryptic offer. Sonny is willing to do just about anything to secure Michael's freedom. Is Michael willing to do the same? As Anna struggles to keep her sanity, Pascal and Sidwell aren't making it any easier on her. She is already convinced that Liesl Obrecht is in on this kidnapping and recently gave her a phlebotomy. It's now time to convince her of someone else. Anna becomes more and more terrified as she hears Faison's voice. He seems to be very much alive, but Anna wonders how that can be. Wasn't his brain in a jar on Kevin's desk back in 2018? The weekly General Hospital spoilers for January 19th to 23rd reveal that Sonny makes a cryptic offer. Meanwhile, Britt asks Sonny on a date, but later in the week she finds herself backed into a corner. Finally, Curtis feels relieved, but why? It's going to be a drama-filled week in Port Charles. Check out everything that's happening below. Episode 15878 AIR date Monday, January 19th, 2026. The verdict in Willow's trial creates shockwaves. Sonny makes a cryptic offer. Anna is horrified. Drew issues a warning to Nina. Dante is conflicted. Episode 15879, air date Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. Elizabeth and Lucas rush to action. Britt asks Jason on a date. Trina confides in Ava. Cullum issues new orders. Michael and Chase have a tense encounter. Episode 15880, AI date Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Laura is alarmed. Tracy makes Jason an offer. Nina advises Kai. Brennan briefs Jocelyn. Lucas delivers devastating news. Episode 15881, air date Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. Britt is backed into a corner. Jason is suspicious. Emma turns to Nathan for help. Brooke, Lynn, and Chase discuss their future. Lucas and Marco are surprised. The WSB has been part of General Hospital for decades, sometimes as a full-on engine for adventure and sometimes as a convenient file folder the show opens when it needs danger, aliases, and a reason for someone to vanish. The problem has always been that the Bureau tends to feel like one big shadow with a rotating cast of faces, which works until the story asks for specifics and the whole thing starts wobbling. This week, though, the writing stopped treating the WSB like a vibe and started treating it like a machine, and the shift changes how we read everyone currently embroiled in it. When he spoke to Jack, Cullum's language mattered because it finally gave the WSB a ceiling, and it's not just him. When he references higher-ups and a directorate, the show is telling us the chain of command doesn't end with a single director sitting at a desk somewhere, frowning into the middle distance. There's oversight above the oversight, which is exactly the sort of institutional layering you expect from an agency that survives by staying vague. That one detail turns the WSB from a single authority into a structure with compartments, politics, and people who don't all want the same outcome, meaning information becomes currency and silence becomes policy. If there's a directorate, there's also distance, insulation, and a built-in way to deny knowledge when something goes sideways, which is basically the Bureau's love language. It also explains why the WSB has always been able to hide messes and keep moving. When power is shared in a cluster rather than held by a single person, accountability becomes optional. Port Charles keeps looking for the villain in the room, while the WSB keeps operating like the villain is the room. Cullum backing off from Jack isn't restraint or professionalism, and it's definitely not a respect thing. It's caution, the kind that shows up when the person asking questions is also hiding their own fingerprints somewhere nearby. The second Cullum leaned too hard on Jack about who his asset inside Windermere was. He risked giving away what he's connected to, and the show has already made it clear he's tied into Sidwell's operation and Fozon cold fusion work. Jack's refusal to name his source doesn't read as swagger either. It reads like scar tissue. Double Agent Moreau already cost him 2 agents isn't a flex, it's a warning, and Cullum hears it because both men understand the same ugly reality. If you expose the wrong thing to the wrong person, you don't just lose a case, you lose people. So Cullum redirects instead of breaking him, because breaking him would require showing his hand. He told Jack to focus on Spoon Island and pushed Anna back onto the board to try to divert Jack. But knowing what's happened to her, Cullum backed off on that as well, because attention is the one thing a directorate can't control once it catches fire. Is General Hospital's Sonny becoming a kinder, gentler mob boss? It appears as if he is softening, and we are here for it. It wasn't that long ago when Sonny hung Dex from a meat hook and then beat him up at his niece's wedding. That was the violent Sonny we loved and hated at the same time. Alexis is trying to shift the blame for Drew's shooting from her client, Willow, to Michael, and is doing a pretty good job at it. So, when she walked into her office to find Sonny waiting for her, we expected it to hit the fan. Surprisingly, it didn't. The mobster had a logical, understanding conversation with the attorney. He didn't yell, scream, or threaten her. Sonny's temper is legendary, especially when defending his family, so his calm was unexpected. Michael could go to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Could Sonny have a trick up his sleeve to help his son out of this mess? Sonny hates Drew, but doesn't everyone? The strange thing is that he doesn't hate Willow. She cheated on Michael, left him for his uncle, wouldn't let his parents see him in the burn unit, and tried to take their kids away, but Sonny still somehow sees good in her. Michael's dad keeps giving his ex-daughter-in-law the benefit of the doubt. He believes she is a good mother who loves her children, and he doesn't think she shot Drew. Alexis did throw around some hints that she is guilty, which may have changed his mind, but the anger isn't there. Sonny's temper is much worse when he is off his meds, so he is obviously taking them, but this is a much softer Sonny than we have ever seen. There may be a reason for this calm mob boss. It could be just age, or he could be tired of the mob life, as he has been saying for a while. Or this could just be the calm before the storm. The next General Hospital spoilers video for Friday, January 16, 2025, shows Dante questioning how far Chase would go to protect Willow, while Britt plots defiance with Liesel, and Willow calmly announces the jury's decision like it's already settled. Dante says to Chase, "I just need to know how far you would go to protect her." Dante really needs to back off from attacking his family and friends. Chase is too good a guy to do anything shady, even for Willow. Britt suggests to Liesel, maybe we should show him that by doing the opposite. Who could Britt be talking about? Nathan? Rocco? No matter what, she's going to do what she wants to do. In bed, Gio asks Emma, "Any second thoughts?" He's clearly asking about their first time being intimate, but likely Emma won't have anything negative to say. An incredulous Trina asks Alexis, "Willow can get away with everything. How is that justice?" The advanced teasers state that Alexis explains her actions. Hopefully, her subtle sign to the jury sways them into a mistrial, so Willow could truly be prosecuted once the truth gets out. The teasers also show that Nina issues a warning to Drew, and she tells him, "Now it's time to do it my way." Now that the trial is nearing the end, Nina doesn't have to play nice with Drew anymore. General Hospital's Alexis was horrified to realize that her client, Willow, was in fact guilty of shooting Drew. We're not sure why. Everyone in Port Charles is a criminal, including Alexis, all of her relatives, her baby daddies, and her children. She asked Diane how she could possibly defend someone who'd actually done what they were accused of. Luckily, Diane reminded Alexis of what a defense attorney's job is. But to us, Lexis's dilemma felt very familiar, though she didn't quite go in the same direction as the last ABC legal eagle. Up until the moment when she gave her closing argument to the jury, we were afraid Alexis would go in the same direction as Nora on One Life to Live, who, upon coming to the conclusion that Todd and his cronies, whom she was defending on charges of gang rape, did indeed commit the crime, gave a summation which incriminated her clients. Nora should have lost her law license for that, but Smith won a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress. In the book, Super Soap Scenes, a time capsule of daytime drama's greatest moments, the late OLTL head writer Michael Malone recalled his first breakout hit story. It was one of the first stories I'd told on One Life to Live. In it, Marty was a spoiled, rich, needy, and recklessly self-destructive young woman, with a veneer of cynicism over a troubled core. When Andrew Carpenter, the young minister, rejected Marty's sexual advances, she retaliated by spreading the lie that he was sleeping with a teenaged boy named Billy Douglas. Marty's lies almost destroyed the minister, divided his church, and troubled the town. Josh Griffith and I named the story The Accusation. The accusation led to the next story, one of the most challenging and controversial we did during my tenure on the show. Remembering the story, people call it Marty's Rape or Marty and Todd. It was a graphic, honest, intensely emotional, extensively researched portrayal of the too often unreported crime of college rape, in this case, a gang rape by 3 fraternity men. The victim was Marty, a fellow student who already knew them, who had previously had sex with one of them, and who was intoxicated at the time of the rape. The message of the story was that none of these circumstances mitigate against the fact that rape is rape and rape is a major crime. The story has had a strong effect both on its creators and on its audience. The rape was instigated by Todd Manning, a character who had first arrived in story notes as frat boy number 1. Just like Marty, Todd was spoiled, rich, needy, and recklessly self-destructive, with a veneer of cynicism over a troubled core. Like her, Todd was a liar. But Marty was known to have lied about Andrew Carpenter and Billy Douglas. So when she cried rape, no one believed her, including Nora Gannon, the attorney who was defending the accused rapist because she believed them to be innocent.